Midweek greetings to our global audience from RC8 Eros Park Windhoek. You're watching Primetime News with me, Michael Madimba. Leading tonight's bulletin. The National Housing Enterprises announced a 0.5% increase in its prime lending rate from 7.75% to 8.25%, as well as a 0.5% increase in its mortgage lending rate from 7.75% to 8.25%.
This follows the announcement by the Bank of Namibia's Monetary Policy Committee to raise the repo rate by 50 basis points on 15 June 2022. In a media statement issued on Tuesday, NHE Acting Sales and Lending Executive Ludwina Alex stated that the interest rate changes will take effect on 1st August 2022. She explained the increase is influenced by the global economy as a result of the pandemic's aftermath and NHE's high cost of borrowing, she explained. Shalva Wells, Nampa News, Windhoek.
Our next story emanates from the Ministry of Health and Social Services, where its Executive Director, Ben Nangombe, confirmed that the Central Hospital Maternity Ward experienced a water supply disruption on Sunday due to a water pipe burst. Let's get more on the story compiled by Linia Dishina.
According to an anonymous patient, the maternity ward was without running water from Sunday afternoon until Monday evening, resulting in some expectant mothers and those who had just given birth looking for alternatives, such as having water brought from home. Speaking to the Namibia Press Agency on Tuesday, Executive Director in the Ministry of Health and Social Services, Ben Nangombe, said repair services commenced immediately when the pipe burst was detected. He, however, refuted claims that patients were required to get water from home for their needs unless they wanted water for drinking, which they got from home. Nangombe said during a water disruption occurrence, the ministry has a water tank system to restore running water in the ward.
Moving on to neighboring South Africa, where the corruption watchdog on Tuesday revealed it will invoke subpoena powers to get answers from President Cyril Ramaphosa over the alleged concealment of a theft at his luxury farmhouse. Shelva Wells reports.
The Public Protector Office said a deadline for Ramaphosa to answer questions related to the break-in expired on Monday after it denied a request for an extension. Watchdog spokesman Opa Segalwe told AFP via text message they intend to subpoena the information they require from the president. The watchdog opened a probe in June over potential breaches of the Executive Ethics Code after Ramaphosa was accused of bribing burglars to keep quiet about a February 2020 heist at his game farmhouse, where it is alleged $4 million in cash was stolen. The case, which has piled pressure on the president amid heightened tensions within the ruling African National Congress Party, stems from a police report filed by former national spy boss Arthur Fraser last month. Fraser alleged that robbers broke into Ramaphosa's farm in the northeast of the country, where they found the cash hidden in furniture. Ramaphosa hid the heist from police and tax authorities, Fraser alleged, accusing the head of state of organizing the kidnapping and questioning of the robbers and then bribing them into silence. Ramaphosa has acknowledged the burglary but denies the alleged kidnapping and bribery, saying he reported the burglary to the police.
On to global news. Syria announced earlier today it was severing ties with Ukraine in support of its close ally Russia, saying the move was a response to a similar move by Kiev. Salima Shimwefaleni Masipa breaks down the politics for us.
A foreign ministry official who was not identified told the state news agency Sana that the Syrian Arab Republic has decided to break diplomatic relations with Ukraine in conformity with the principle of reciprocity and in response to the decision of the Ukrainian government. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky already announced he was severing ties with Syria late last month after Syria recognized the Russian-backed breakaway republics of Donetsk and Lugansk in eastern Ukraine. Zelensky said at the time there will no longer be relations between Ukraine and Syria. The breakaway states of Donetsk and Lugansk, whose independence Moscow recognized in February, are situated in Donbas region at the center of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, which was launched on the 24th of February. Syria was the first country apart from Russia to recognize their independence.
When we return, the Bank of Namibia governor dissects the country's current inflationary pressures. Primetime Bees brings you all things business and economics, and leading the segment tonight, the Bank of Namibia Governor Johannes Kavagap earlier this afternoon unpacked the sources of the country's inflationary pressures during a public lecture held in Rundu, Kavango West.
You have got a demand shock, you've got a financial shock, you've got a supply shock. What COVID did, COVID delivered all of those into a single package. And that's what we are seeing today. It's nothing to do how we, as Namibians, as a government, are managing the economy, or that as someone is being reckless. The cost of living challenges that you are seeing today is a hit from outside. We are dealing with external shocks. We have got an exogenous shock on top of the exogenous shocks we have in the system already. So if you can understand that, I want to rebut that narrative that there is some mismanagement, the economy going on. It's not at all. So that's why I'm explaining where this is coming from. And we're going to get another shock coming again. After COVID, we thought we are out of this. We're going to get another shock that's approaching. And that is a shock that's going to introduce by tightening of financial conditions as central banks aim to contain the runaway inflation. So you see inflation in the advanced economies. Even in America, we've got inflation at 9%. In the UK and England, we've got inflation at 8%. In Germany, we've got inflation at 8%. This morning, we got figures that in South Africa, inflation jumped from 6.5% in May till about 7.4%. So what do you think central banks like the Bank of Namibia will be doing? Their job is to make sure that we contain inflation so that inflation doesn't run away. And if we do this, what we are doing is we're going to tighten financial conditions. And when we tighten financial conditions, we are actually slowing economic growth. So as we are getting out of COVID, now we have got a financial tightening that's happening. Over the short term, we're going to get pain, but that's the right thing for the long term. If we don't do that now, the money that you have got in your pocket now, that's being eaten away by inflation, is going to be worthless. So we have to take this pain, fellow Namibians, so that over the medium to long term, we have got a proper foundation to work from, and we make sure that the incomes and the value of your currency is protected.
Fisheries and Marine Resources Minister Derek Claassen has expressed dissatisfaction with the non-completion of his minister's regional office at Rundu. Sawi Hausiku brings us this report.
Claassen, who is on a week-long visit to the Tu-Kavango region, said it was a very disturbing sight when he visited the construction of their regional office in Rundu. Work on the project came to a standstill after the Ministry of Works and Transport allegedly refused to pay the contractor due to unclear reasons. A company named Ome Construction was contracted to construct the regional office in 2012 by the Ministry of Works and Transport at a cost of 14 million Namibian dollars. Its contract was terminated and another contractor, Africa Civil Engineering, was appointed in 2015 to continue work at a cost of $16 million. The contract too was terminated in October 2018.
That's all we had for you for the talk segment. Kindly stay tuned for Sports Planet. But first, the economics roundup and the weather forecast.
A very good evening and a warm welcome to All Things Sport on Sport Planet. I'm Salima Shumwefeleni Masipa. Athletics headlined the segment. Namibia's representative at the 2022 World Athletics Championships, Beatrice Masilingi, was eliminated earlier today from the competition after finishing last in Heat 3 of the women's 200 meters. Namibia's Under-20 World Athletics Championship silver medalist in the 100 meters and 200 meters reached the semi-finals on Tuesday with a seasonal best of 22.27 seconds, but her semi-final performance fell short to ensure her a spot in the finals that will take place on Friday morning. On to some football. Former Brave Warriors coach and 2022 COSAFA Cup Technical Study Group member Ricardo Manetti has called on nations competing in the competition to maintain its value. In an interview with the Namibia Press Agency on Tuesday, Manetti noted that this year's championship had teams that were outstanding, while other nations used the competition as a developmental tournament. Stand by for your sports roundup. And with that, we've come to the end of tonight's newscast. Many thanks for tuning in. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe, like, share, and press the notifications bell to stay posted on the latest happenings locally and globally. Do join us tomorrow for yet another edition of Primetime News. From myself, Salima Shumwefeleni Masipa, and the entire production crew, it's good night.